Club, day 16, tip number 16 for the Math TSI test, factoring polynomials. That's probably one of the more challenging questions that you may see on the TSI test. Now, to be able to factor, you got to know how to multiply, because factoring is the reverse of multiplication. Here we have two binomials that we're going to multiply together. You can use the FOIL method or the box method, whatever you're more comfortable with. But you have to understand the process of multiplying polynomials so that factoring makes sense, okay? Here we're going to use the FOIL method. We're just going to do the first two. So I got x times x, which is x squared. Then I have x times 3, which is positive 3x. Negative 4 times x is minus 4x. And then negative 4 times 3 is going to be negative 12. Now, whenever I am multiplying these binomials together, I have to go ahead and make sure I simplify to get my final answer. So I have x squared, negative 4 and positive 3 is negative x minus 12. So my final answer is this. Factoring says, what did I multiply to get this, right? So now I'm going to use this x squared minus x minus 12. They're going to give you this problem and say, hey, I need you to factor it, or I need you to find an equivalent expression for this problem. What did I multiply to get here? I use these two binomials. But if you're given this, how are you going to figure that out? We always look at the last term. We factor that term to determine what two numbers we're going to put inside of our binomials, okay? So we know that to get x squared, we multiply x times x. So that's usually always your first, that is always your first two terms in your binomials is going to be x and x if the first term is x squared, okay? So if your first term is x squared, then the law of exponents is x times x. You have to do x times x. To get the middle term, I look at this last number, negative 12, and I'm going to determine what two numbers multiply to make negative 12. But remember here, I had to add to get my middle term. So that's what we're doing. I had to multiply to get my last term, and I had to add to get my middle term. That's how I got my final answer. And that's where the steps for factoring polynomials comes from. So I have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and then 3 times 4. I'm looking for a difference of 1, negative 1 to be exact. 1 and 12 have a difference of 11, 2 and 6 have a difference of 4, so my winners are going to be 3 and 4. I just have to determine who gets the negative and who gets the positive. Well, since my term in the middle is negative, that means the greater digit is going to be negative, and then this would be my answer for factoring polynomials. If you have any questions, please let you know. See you later, bye!